The King's Gambit. The name immediately conjures up the romantic era of chess. The Muzio Gambit. Anderson against Kieseritzky. Wonderful, unexpected tactics. Amazing mating attacks. Well, we're going to see plenty of those over the next couple of hours, and I hope it'll give you the courage and inspiration to play your own brilliances. I'm going to present a repertoire for white with the King's Gambit, and well, quite often what I'm going to do is present a kind of sensible option for white, but also perhaps a more dramatic option that you can try if you want to just risk a little bit more. I'm not going to pretend that the King's Gambit is 100% sound, so if you're playing in the next World Championship cycle, perhaps best to leave it alone. But for the rest of us, it is fantastic fun, and well, honestly, some really interesting ideas that I've rediscovered. I think that the list of names of players that have played the King's Gambit and are playing the King's Gambit today should convince you that it's worth joining their company. So players like Ponomaryov, Nigel Short, Richard Rapport, Alexander Morozevich, and from the older generation, well, Bronstein, Spassky, Fischer. Well, you're in good company if you play the King's Gambit. I'd also like to mention a special mention of Joe Gallagher, an old friend and colleague of mine who has played so many King's Gambits and contributed a lot of really nice ideas and played some great games with it too. And you're going to be seeing quite a few of his games over the next few hours. First of all, I'd like to give you a quick overview of the variations that I'm covering in the King's Gambit. So one thing I would say is that I'm only going to look at knight f3 here. Bishop c4, fine. If you want to do that, that's up to you. But I want to keep things simple. So it's going to be knight f3. And of course, I'm going to be looking at g5, one of the traditional old moves. But I'm not going to be looking at h4. I'm actually recommending knight c3. And then after g4, knight e5. That's the so-called Kvada Gambit. And also bishop c4, the McDonald attack, is really interesting. What else have we got? Of course, there's the Fischer defense. But somehow I'm not too worried about Fischer's defense or Fischer's refutation in the King's Gambit. There's the modern variation, which I think is very reliable for black. However, we've got a couple of nice ideas that we can try against that. There's the Cunningham variation, a very old line, quite tricky, but really white shouldn't have any problems against that. Knight e7 is interesting, with the idea usually of playing d5. And there's knight f6, the so-called Schalop variation, which you see now and again, and it's quite tricky. So we need to take a look at that. And then looking at second move alternatives, of course, the Falkbeer counter gambit, which is quite tricky. Bishop c5, unpretentious, but also, well, we have to be kind of on our toes for that one because, of course, black is preventing castling. Knight f6 shouldn't trouble us too much. Famous Fischer endgame in that. And d6 can lead to a transposition into Fischer's defense, but very often players that play d6 normally just play quite passively, and that's certainly nothing to worry about. That really is nice for white. Well, I tell you, I've had a fantastic time just preparing this DVD. It's brought me back to my wild years, my teenage years, when I played the King's Gambit myself. And this book The King's Gambit by Korchnoi and Zach. That was my Bible for many years. Published in 1974. I must have been, well, probably about 12 years old when I got this book. And I've been going through it again, and it's been such fun. Rediscovering old lines and, well, checking them with computers. Computers have actually rehabilitated a lot of old lines. So I hope you have as much fun playing the King's Gambit as I've done in the past, and as much fun as I've had analysing this opening and recording these lines for you. So, the very best of luck.